To this now, thousands of travellers have been processed at the Lebombo Border post with snaking queues forming already this morning. The Border Management Authority has beefed up operations to clamp down on any criminality. And SABC News reporter Nhlamulo Mabasa is monitoring Lebombo Border operations for us. And of course, she should be joining us in a short moment. Now, remember, yesterday, the BMA alongside SABC had held a media briefing just to, ascertain their readiness as well as preparedness ahead of today's rush, as of course the final push of those holiday makers makes it to the border. We understand there were snaking queues and trucks there queuing as long as 30 kilometers due to the slow processing when it gets to the gate. And this was not just, of course, only exclusive to those motorists. It was also pedestrians that had to use the services out at the Lebombo Border post. And of course, let's now join, Nhlamulo Mabasa, who is at the border. Nhlamulo, it's great to have you with us. A very good afternoon. So you're at the border where we know it's been quite a week of snaking queues, right? As the processing took quite a significantly long time due to volumes of motorists as well as people making their way in or out of the two countries. How is the situation like today? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Alicia. Good afternoon to our viewers at home. Just to take you a bit back, it took us exactly 4 hours just from kilometer 7 to get to the Lebombo port of entry. But I'll move a bit out of shot just to show you what is currently happening. It is raining. It started raining at around 30 minutes ago. So you can see that the numbers of cars or people coming in is a bit slow at the moment. But we did actually manage to talk to the officials here, which is the BMA, saying that they are still working hard. But just a bit, Alicia, as you get into Port town, as you drive into the border, it's quite a chaos there. There's less traffic officials, less police officers on the road, and I can safely say that they've taken over the 4 roads, as in 2 going east, 2 going south. They've actually blocked, so there is no movement coming into the border. Hence, you see the numbers that you see right now of people, or for it to seem as if there's less people. But I can confirm that in the Port town, there is no control. Coming into the border, it is quite a nightmare, or rather impossible.
In any reported incident so far, Nhlamulo, in terms of arrests, we know that the BMA and SABC yesterday had jointly announced their joint operations to beef up security as well in order to curb any criminal activity around the border.
We spoke to Dr. Mabasa just 10 minutes ago. He did say that in the next hour or so, they will have the latest numbers as to how many people they've arrested and the loneliness, because they did actually mention that they are working with the SANDF, and with regards to the technologies that they are using, they were actually able to arrest quite a number of people. However, he did say that at the moment, they won't be able to give us numbers, but after 30 minutes, those numbers will be available. We will know how many people have been arrested and how many of those, and Alicia, just if you can just hang on for us, he is actually coming through. I'll just walk a bit out of shot so that we are still able to show you what is happening. BMA, Dr. Michael Masiapato will be joining us now. Hopefully we'll have those numbers as you give us the latest update. But for now, the visuals that you can see, this is currently what is happening, Alicia. The rain did seem to stop, but I still can say what you see here is not the true reflection of what is happening outside the corridor of the port of entry. But to hear more on this, Dr. Masiapato is here. He will be giving us the latest numbers and the latest on how we're doing as the border. Please come through. Welcome to the SABC. Sorry to hijack you. How are we doing in some of the numbers?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Nhlamulo. Yeah, no, we have been hard at work since this morning. Up to this point, we have just done just around 20,000. You will remember that yesterday we actually locked in terms of 24 hours, 26,000. So we are now at around 20,000, and we are then believing that overnight, as we continue to process them, we are then likely to either get to the 26,000 or we can even surpass that number.
So in terms of lawlessness, what I saw coming in here, it took us 4 hours to get into this border, which was quite a nightmare, or rather mission impossible. How are you then, does this mean that you are not working, or your relationship with regard to law enforcement driving into the border?
Yeah, you see the issue of corridor management, and I want to actually say that when it comes to Lebombo, it's always a problem. I mean, we have been able to at least, I would say, successfully manage corridor in terms of Bait Bridge. But in terms of Lebombo, I think this time, as it was also a bit last year and a year before, we continue to struggle. And I think the biggest challenge that we are dealing with is that Mozambicans are just deciding not to cooperate. And that is the problem. So effectively, what we have to be doing is to make sure that we force them to comply. But because of the numbers, we keep struggling. We do have the traffic authorities on the N4. We do have some members of the police on the corridor, and they're trying their best. But otherwise, what they do, they also drive on the oncoming traffic, and that is why we have the log jam, as it were. And that is the reason why you will then struggle to get to the port. But when you check inside the port, you will realize that there is order around the port because we have separated the people. We have pedestrians on one end, we have small vehicles on one end, we have obviously the trucks on the other end and all of that. So there is a bit of order within the port, but on the corridor, we continue to struggle.
When I spoke to you a bit earlier on, you spoke about the technologies that you are using that are assisting you to actually even, because before we even took this crossing, we could see some of the Mozambican nationals trying to use, other ways to get home. As you can see, just a few hours away to Christmas. How many people have you been able to arrest so far?
Yeah, I was just talking to the team. As you saw me, I was going up the other side, and they've just confirmed that around 112 individuals had been apprehended since this morning, and all of those were apprehended up the mountain, mainly by the members of the SANDF, working together with the border guards and SAPS. They brought them through into the port. We then processed them for deportation. So that is the number. You will remember yesterday we spoke about around 100, and a day before yesterday it was around 50. So today it's around 112 that we've arrested. So we'll continue to arrest over like this afternoon into the night, ultimately into the morning, for those that will be trying to avoid coming into the port, trying to exit outside. But we do have the drone. I think you did see the drone earlier, and that drone is actually assisting us because when we put it up there, we are able to observe all the activities on the mountain. When you see them from the taxi rank here trying to go up, it doesn't mean they are into Mozambique. They are just going up as an attempt, and our forces are up the mountain, and that is where they get arrested, and they bring them back into the port.
As it seems here, seems things to be running smoothly, but I can attest, because I saw what is happening there, coming into from Komati Port, getting in here. How are we going to, are you confident that we're still going to manage to process more people coming into, or rather trying to get home for the Christmas?
Yeah, no, I mean, we will definitely be able to process all of these people. I mean, by tomorrow, probably around 9, 10, we will have everybody completely processed. The biggest challenge we have, and by the way, sometimes when we see the people like this, we think are the same people that were here yesterday. All the people that were here yesterday were out. Literally, they actually processed. Hence, we talk about 26,000. So the people you see here, they just came. So what happens is, as we process them, taxes are dropping more, and then we keep processing them, and then they keep dropping more. And that is the reality. That is why we say from the 10th of December, we have locked around 330,000 people that we processed through Lebombo here. So we are very much confident that by tomorrow, earlier in the morning, we will have everybody even cross to the other side. But the problem as we speak now, there are some that are actually leaving Gauteng, for example, on the way here. And they will be arriving here around midnight, and we'll continue to process them into the morning. And by sometimes around 9 or so in the morning, we'll have everybody processed out.
Thank you so much for your time. We will be keeping an eye. We'll be here throughout the night. So whatever you have just spoken out, we'll be here to watch it. This is currently what is happening. Numbers are crippling in. As you heard, they've arrested over 100 people that were trying to, attempt to get home before Christmas arrives. For now, it is back to you in studio.
Thank you so much to SABC News reporter Nhlamulo Mabasa, monitoring traffic flows and activity at the Lebombo port of entry. She was joined by, of course, BMA Commissioner Dr. Michael Masiapato, who says they seem to be struggling with the issue of compliance when it comes to the Mozambican nationals.